Hi everyone, I'm Paul, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to catch an ape. Coin, that is. So like, subscribe, and let's jump into the video. Pretty much everyone knows about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. The JPEGs from this project have pretty much become synonymous with NFTs, and they've also become something of a status symbol with celebrities like Justin Bieber, Madonna, Kevin Hart, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Jimmy Fallon, all proud owners and members of this exclusive club. You can see this tweet from Jimmy Fallon asking to come aboard after purchasing his first ape and making it his new profile pic. And this club's only going to get more exclusive with the floor price for Bored Apes, and that floor price just basically means the cheapest you can buy one of these NFTs is now over 100 ETH. So that's over 300,000 US dollars as the time of this video. And you can check out the Bored Apes on OpenSea, which is an NFT marketplace. And if you look, you can see there's 10,000 of these NFTs and about 6,500 owners. And as I said before, the floor price is now over 100 ETH. And if we scroll down, you can see there's plenty of these apes that are currently in the market to be traded. And if we go in and look at the activity, you can see that they're trading pretty frequently. This ape here just sold 23 minutes ago for a bargain of 94 wrapped ETH. And if we look at the sales over time, keeping in mind that Bored Apes only came around sort of in the middle of 2021, you can see when they were trading back in May, they were a bargain at 0.3 ETH. And if we fast forward to today's date, the floor price is well over 100, the average is 111 ETH. Now, regardless of what your opinions on NFTs or Bored Apes are specifically, there's no doubt that there's a real community and movement around the Bored Apes and the Mutant Apes, so it shouldn't really be a surprise that there's been a lot of interest in the APE Coin token. Now, the APE Coin token is a utility token that's been issued by the APE Coin DAO, and a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. As I mentioned before, APE coins have been airdropped to NFT holders of Mutant Apes and Bored Apes, and they've been trading across various exchanges since the 17th of March. The issue price was originally $8 per APE coin token, and in the first few minutes, Ape traded as high as $41 per token, all the way down to $1 per token. So there's some serious bag holders sitting in there. But after that, it found a floor price around $7 fairly quickly, and has been trading pretty much higher since then, and certainly above the issue price since then. So you can see this tweet from Twitter, from the APE Coin Twitter account, announcing the launch of the APE Coin token, calling it a token for culture, gaming, commerce used to empower a decentralized community building at the forefront of Web3. So APE Coin, NFT plus Web3 means number go up. Well, yes, it seems actually. APE Coin's been one of the most popular tokens traded amongst ETH whales. You can see that APE ranks 5th in the top 10 tokens purchased since it listed. It's already staked its claim in the crypto top 50, trading over $7.7 billion worth in the first 24 hours of trading alone. And so what do we make of all this? Well, I've been trading ApeCoin pretty much since the launch on the 17th of March. For me personally, I don't really go very deep on the fundamental analysis. For me, the price action is the most important thing, but I do like there to be, some kind of reasonable basis for being in a trade. So I think track record counts for something, and you can't deny the success of the Bored Apes and the Mutant Apes. These have both been, highly successful NFT projects, and there's no doubt that a lot of people are looking at ApeCoin, me included, as a low entry price leverage way to get exposure to that particular project. In addition, we know in crypto that community and ecosystems are really important. And if you look at the Bored Ape and Mutant Ape NFT communities, you can't deny the strength of those. And so you've got to back any move that they make into Web3. On the minus side, I've had a little bit of a look at the tokenomics, and to be honest, they don't really look great. There's a lot of supply out there, and at some point that's going to come online. But on balance, I think there's a really good story here, and I think there's a lot of interest and activity, which is obviously why a lot of these ETH whales are circling. So for now, I'm interested in participating, and I'll trade ApeCoin just like I trade anything else. So we don't have much data to work with because the airdrop was on the 17th of March, but you can see the extent of the range from this monthly candle. So, all the way down here from about $1 all the way up to $41, which, as I said, happened in the first few minutes of the airdrop, which is pretty crazy. Now, we don't have too much in terms of levels to work with. We don't have really any support and resistance just because there's so little data. And so whilst we might be getting, the first beginnings of a range forming, if we wanted to look at it something like this, to this, you could say we're starting to form a bit of a range, but I wouldn't really put too much weight in any of these sort of levels at the moment. It's just way too early. And so I think really from a trading perspective, we just have to be driven by our bias. We're bullish, we think it's going to keep going up. And so what we're really looking for is entries to get set. And so there's really nothing on the daily chart so far that really gives us anything really good to go by. And so the only option we really have is to zoom in and look for specific setups that are going to get us into the trade but define our risk. So if we zoom into the 12-hour, there's still really not a lot to work with. We don't have really great levels or anything yet, and there's not really enough data here to get any decent sort of setups. But so far the price action, even after this initial opening candle, is looking pretty positive. So if we zoom in again and go to the 8-hour, and so on the 8-hour we get our first setup immediately after the airdrop. So this is a pretty good place to get set. It's probably a pretty high risk one just given it's so early with not a lot of data, but given that the market started to create a base here, this fair value gap forms. You can see we've got this 3 candle setup, so the first candle, the body, which is the second and the third, and the fair value gaps formed between the high of this candle and the low of this candle. So that's the fair value gap in there. And how we can play that, we can either wait for the market to come back in here and trade at market, or we can set our limit, anywhere in there, or you could just set it at the low of that candle with your stop down here. So that's a really important thing, is that we have our risk defined. So if we're wrong, and if, at this point ApeCoin just completely nuked, well, you've defined your risk, and worst comes to worst, you've lost maybe 1R or less on that particular trade. But as you can see, if you'd done that and you got in, even if you'd gotten in right at the low of this candle, you'd still be sitting in a profitable trade already. So I've zoomed into the 4-hour chart, and I've just changed the pairs because that initial big candle from the airdrop is just making it a little bit difficult to manipulate. But you can see here very early on, after we have that initial run down, so we have this move down to set new lows, so this run down like into liquidity if you like, we can see this setup for this fair value gap forms right here. And so this is a really great setup. So you have basically this higher high, market comes down, and then this candle breaks the market structure and creates a new higher high. So that's a really strong setup, and you can see the fair value gap is formed just here, in between the high of this candle and the low of that candle. So there's our 3 candle setup, and our stop would be here at the low of this candle. So you can see after this candle, the market immediately trades back down into this level before taking off again. Now, even if you were just looking at a short-term trade for that particular setup, targeting, say, the highs here, these previous highs here, you would have been in and out of that trade pretty quickly. And, almost a 3R return, 2.7R return. So that's pretty great, even for, a short trade that's like less than a day. So that's a pretty great setup just there. And you can also see that there's an order block sitting here as well. So we have this down close candle right here. And if we mark out the high of that candle, we have this candle which shoots above that, so it exceeds the high of this again, similar to this sort of concept of breaking market structure. And if we were to put a limit here, just with a little bit for slippage, you can see we would have tagged the bottom of this candle here and got set. And again, you would put your stop down on one of the lows here. And so that would have been another way to get set in this little cluster just there. You can see immediately above this, we get another fair value gap set up. So fair value gap forms right here. So again, it's a 3 candle setup from the high of this candle to the low of this candle, and the body of this candle breaks market structure here. So that crystallizes that setup, and we could place our limit anywhere in here or just at the low of this candle, or as I said before, you could be waiting to trade at market. Obviously on a 4-hour time frame, you have to be sitting there for a long time. But you can see the market trades back into that level before it takes off again. And as before, the great thing about a fair value gap setup is we've got defined risk if we're wrong. So our stop would be down here, and you can always put that stop either at the low of the second candle or the low of that first candle. So you can see we never breach the stop, and the market takes off again. And again, if you're looking just to turn this trade around in pretty much short order, you could trade from here to here I'm not sure how much that is, probably about 1 point something. There you go. So it's about a 1.9R return. So again, pretty good for a short trade. You're only in that for like 4 candles. So that's another pretty strong setup. Again, you've got an order block here. So because you've got this down close candle right here, just before our fair value gap, if we take the high of that candle and run it across, we can use that as our limit entry order to go long. And again, you would put your stop down here at one of the lows down there. So I'll just mark this up. You can see we'd had a lot of opportunity to get into that particular setup with your stop down there. So you can see there's a little bit more risk on that trade, and so you probably wouldn't be looking to exit as soon as maybe some of those other trades, but that would again be a pretty nice entry into this overall uptrend. And so again, because we're bullish, we're only looking for bullish setup. We're looking for bullish fair value gaps, and we're looking for any bullish order blocks that we can use as a means of getting in on this trend as the market moves. You can see while the market's bullish, it just continues to present these bullish fair value gap and order block setups as we go up. And you can see there's another one here. And so in terms of the trades that I've been doing, I put my initial trade, or the first trade I did in APE was down here around this $10 level, and I got out around 12. I wasn't really sure where the market was trading. I got in here, I traded back up into the close of this fair value gap. You can see sort of up around this 12 level. This fair value gap got filled, and then the market pulled back, and so I got out. And then it was pretty much around this entry here. I got back in around 12, I think it was 12.01 if I'm honest. Yeah, 12.01 I got in, and that was around here somewhere. I think actually I may have done a lower time frame entry, maybe on the 1 hour. Yeah, so I entered on the 1 hour. So after I got out around 12, I traded back in. It was this fair value gap here that I traded. So you can see this is a small one. My thinking at the time was looking at this was like a pretty decent pullback to new lows in this uptrend. So we have, higher lows and higher highs. I looked at this as a continuation of that trend. That fair value gap formed there. I got set, around 12. I think I was a little bit late, so I got in around here somewhere. And then it's traded up ever since. And so I'm still in that particular trade at the moment. I think it's about sort of 3 or 4R at the moment. So that's sitting pretty well. So I'm still long, and I'll probably keep holding it. At the moment, there's a lot of attention and focus there. It's a bit of fun. I don't have a lot of money on this trade. Obviously, it's pretty speculative, but we'll see what happens. I hope you enjoyed my video on how to catch an ape coin, especially if you can't afford a real Bored Ape or Mutant Ape NFT like me. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, it'd be great if you could like it. That'll help other people to find it. And if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.